What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Ilia Topuria goes after Belal Muhammad on live stream. Recently, Belal Muhammad warned Ilia Topuria that he doesn't want to mess with his teammate Islam Makhachev, and now the featherweights let loose on his fellow UFC champion. In recent weeks, Topuria has been talking about moving up to lightweight to face the lightweight king Makhachev. At one point, Topuria even proclaimed that if he and Makhachev threw down in the street, it would be the latter who would need medical attention. That prompted Muhammad to warn Topuria he should be really careful about disrespecting Makhachev or even mentioning the possibility of a street fight. In a recent live stream that Topuria held ahead of his October 26 bout with Max Holloway, he proceeded to call Belal a fake champ. In English, Topuria said,
"But Belal, he's a fake champ. He's a fake. I think right now in the welterweight division, the one who will come back and will take the belt again, it's Kamaru Usman, in my opinion. Easy work for Usman."
Belal Muhammad sent a shot at Ilia Topuria, tweeting, "Didn't this dork just buy a fake BMF belt to pose with? He's starting to become the Georgian version of Colby Covington." Ilia Topuria responded, tweeting, "Belal crotch sniffer Muhammad." He then said, "No finishes, no knockouts, no knockdowns, no girlfriend, no kids. Belal has never finished any man or woman." Belal Muhammad then responded, tweeting, "Now you're just copying stuff word for word off memes." And while responding to a fan in Spanish, the Rising Star stated,
Es un tipo duro, es un buen campeón, es de los pocos ahora mismo que yo diría que de verdad merece el lugar donde tiene, es un buen campeón y por eso es que me gustaría compartir el octógono con él, no es como Belal.
So the fact Topuria is going out of his way here to praise Makhachev seems like a bit of a shift, although it's clear he still wants to move up and fight Islam at some juncture. It would be interesting to hear more from Topuria on why he thinks Belal is a fake champ. After all, he just won the title and has yet to defend it, similar to Ilia. All that aside, there are plenty of signs at this juncture that Topuria could call out Makhachev if he's victorious at UFC 308, but really that does seem premature. Makhachev is expected to face Arman Tsarukyan next, and even if Topuria beats Blessed, the chances of the UFC giving him a lightweight title shot right now seem slim. Due to Alexander Volkanovski's impressive run as the featherweight king, many believe Volk will get another shot at the 145 belt. But what do you think? Would you like to see Topuria throw down with Makhachev if he beats Holloway? Or do you think Ilia needs to slow his roll and worry about getting by the legendary featherweight first? Umar Nurmagomedov calls out Merab for playing games. As 2024 winds down, there's no official date yet for the expected bout between Merab Dvalishvili and Umar Nurmagomedov, and according to the latter, it's because the champion's playing games. Ever since Nurmagomedov defeated Corey Sandhagen in August, he's repeatedly said he's fighting for the bantamweight belt next. Dvalishvili, meanwhile, has repeatedly argued that Umar does not deserve a title shot. But since former champion Sean O'Malley is likely sidelined until next summer on account of a hip surgery, and because Deiveson Figueiredo is now booked to fight Peter Yan on November 23rd, all signs point to Umar getting a title shot. Well, more recently, Nurmagomedov claimed via social media that Merab has said he'll fight the challenger in March. But since Ramadan is taking place that month, Umar will not be competing. In a follow-up interview with Yahoo Sports' Kevin Ayala, Nurmagomedov outlined why he thinks this is all a ploy by Merab to delay fighting him. Here's some of what the undefeated fighter had to say. "He's playing games. They know that I will not fight in Ramadan, and they're telling us how they're going to fight in March, when March is all Ramadan. It's looking very bad. It's looking like he's trying to avoid me, like he's scared. I don't understand why the champion is trying to avoid the next contender, but if they won't fight with me, I don't want to wait. Summer, June, or July is too long. I want to fight now. I want to fight after 2 months before Ramadan, and I want to be active, so we'll see what's going to happen." The UFC has pay-per-view events scheduled in January and February, and they're expected to take place in Los Angeles and Australia, respectively. Neither has a main event yet, so you'd think the promotion will push to have Merab versus Umar take place before March. Otherwise, the bantamweight belt won't be on the line for roughly a 6-month period. And then, you start looking at O'Malley's timeline for a return. But what do you think? Will the new champion agree to fight Nurmagomedov in early 2025? Is this all a game? Justin Gaethje, next UFC fight revealed by his manager. It appears all but certain that Justin Gaethje's 2024 campaign will not include another fight. But recently, the former BMF champ's manager reported Gaethje will return to the octagon before the first quarter of 2025 wraps up. Gaethje has yet to be booked for a fight since he was taken out by Max Holloway at UFC 300 in April via knockout that still has the galaxy buzzing. Following the vicious stoppage, the 35-year-old Gaethje reported he was going to take some time to recover before fighting again. Well, more recently, Gaethje's manager Ali Abdelaziz spoke with MMA Fighting, and while doing so, Abdelaziz confirmed that the highlight will return to the octagon in March. Justin Gaethje is going to fight in March. Against who? I have no idea. It can be Dan Hooker, it can be Dustin Poirier, it can be Renato Moicano. Whatever it is, I don't know, but I would like to see Justin fight in March. He needs a little bit of time to recover after his last fight. He deserves that. The manager also noted that Gaethje will be down to fight essentially anyone. I think he'll be ready in March to fight. Against who? Justin Gaethje doesn't pick opponents. While no one would argue that Gaethje ducks opponents, or at least they shouldn't, you would think realistically he'll only fight a top lightweight. Prior to his loss to Holloway, Gaethje scored consecutive wins over Rafael Fiziev and Dustin Poirier, and he's currently ranked number 3. Of the men Abdelaziz mentioned, the only man who isn't ranked in the top 5 is Moicano. Money is currently ranked number 11, but that hasn't stopped Moicano from calling for a fight with Gaethje, even when Abdelaziz is on the phone right in front of him. Case in point, recently, the well-known manager was a guest on the Show Me the Money podcast, and he had this interaction with Moicano.
Moicano get whatever he wants. Moicano want money.
Let's go. Moicano said he want to fight Justin Gaethje.
Do whatever the I just don't like Dan Hooker. I want him to smash his
I don't like it too, my brother. I want to fight Dan Hooker too.
I think you have winning streak. You're finishing guys. You're not boring. You say Macron.
If they don't give you the Dan Hooker fight, Manny Moicano is here because I want to fight for the title too. And Justin Gaethje, he's a contender.
He's gonna come back in March. This is when is Justin gonna fight. Dan Hooker already lost for the title of Islam in 1 minute.
Yeah.
And this is the angle you should take. You should talk, hey, this guy already lost to the champion. I didn't lose to the champion. And you have the best winning streak, honestly.
There's no doubt that Manny Moicano is on a massive run right now and has a lot of hype around him as a result. But do you think that Gaethje is more likely to accept a rubber match with Poirier, which is likely the bigger fight? Which bout would you rather see? Or do you want to see Hooker and Gaethje throw hands? Khalil Rountree talks about his next UFC fight. Khalil Rountree Jr. needs some time to recover from the memorable and bloody war he had with Alex Pereira at UFC 307. But the lightweight contender is looking to get right back in a title shot race when he returns to the octagon. Although Rountree was battered and bloodied in his 4th round stoppage loss to Poatan earlier this month, the contender impressed the MMA world with his performance. After all, in the opening rounds it was clear Rountree was testing Pereira big time, and even scored a flash knockdown at one point. Well, more recently, the Dangerous Striker spoke with MMA Junkie Radio, and when asked about his next fight and who he wants to face, the 34-year-old had this to say. I think right now any name in the top 5 or within title contention to me makes sense. There's not one name specifically. There's not one person who I'm emotionally attached to and a fight I think I deserve next. But I like to continue to fight people within the top 5 so that I can get another shot at the title. It seems like the majority of the guys are booked or injured. But while I'm healing up, there will be a good number of matchups to happen. Although Rountree came up short in his bid for the light heavyweight crown, there's no question his stock went up at UFC 307. So you would think that he has another good chance of being booked to fight another top 5 ranked contender next. More likely against someone who is also coming off a loss, like say Jamal Hill, or possibly the loser of the Magomed Ankalaev Alexander Rakic scrap, which is going down at UFC 308. Who do you want to see Rountree face next? And do you agree he deserves to fight a top 5 ranked contender? Joe Rogan and Dana White disagree with UFC judge. Raquel Pennington's reign as the UFC's women's bantamweight champion ended up being just a short one. But according to the rugged vet, plenty of big names, including Joe Rogan and Dana White, believed she should still be holding the 135 title. Pennington faced Juliana Pena at UFC 307 earlier this month, in what was Rocky's first bout since she defeated Mayra Bueno Silva in January to claim the bantamweight crown. After 5 rounds of action at UFC 307, however, 2 of the judges scored the fight 48-47 for Pena. Well, since then, Pennington spoke with MMAfighting.com, and while doing so, the 36-year-old outlined why she still can't believe 2 of the judges scored the fight for Pena. It's just crazy to me what these judges do. At the end of the day, you have competitive fights, they go to the decisions. And it just takes that one person to take away everything from somebody, and I feel like they just really don't realize what they're doing, and yet they're the ones with the best seat in the house. They're the ones that are supposed to be doing the best job. And it's crazy to me how every single media outlet, like there wasn't even one that said Pena won. It was every single media outlet that said Pennington. I've had numerous top athletes reach out to me. I've had Dana White, freaking Hunter Campbell, Joe Rogan, John Anik, Daniel Cormier, everybody who's sitting right there, and everybody is just like, no way, we don't understand this. Nobody understood it. I didn't understand it. Do you agree with people, including Pennington, who maintain that she should have heard and still at UFC 307? Brandon Royval wants UFC title fight next. At UFC Vegas 98 on Saturday, not only did Brandon Royval play the role of spoiler, the flyweight ensured he remained in the title shot mix. Royval faced Tatsudo Taira in the card's headliner, in a bout that had the stage set to move Taira into a title fight. After all, Taira had won all 6 of his UFC fights to date, and as a result, Royval was the betting line's underdog. Well, although the fight was extremely close and featured several jaw-dropping grappling exchanges, Royval emerged with the split decision victory. The win all but ensured that the 32-year-old remains the #1 ranked flyweight for now. So while talking to the media afterward, Royval called a shot, and that shot was for a title fight.
I see a title shot next. There's no way about it. I have a win over the whole top 5 of the division. I'm all about rematches, but that being said, is like I earned my way to a title shot. I took a short notice against the #1. I just took out the hottest prospect in the division. I think a title shot is what's next for me, and I'll be the backup for the title fight December 7th.
You can certainly understand why Royval feels this way. He also holds wins over top contenders like Brandon Moreno and Kai Kara France. But since he dropped a unanimous decision loss to the current champion, Alexandre Pantoja, last December, some chips need to fall into place before he gets another crack at the belt. Pantoja is booked to fight former Rizin champ Kai Asakura at UFC 310, and Moreno will battle fellow contender Amir Albazi on November 2nd. If Albazi wins that fight, chances are he'll be fighting for the 125-pound title next, as he will have won 7 straight fights at that point. Conor McGregor responded to a clip of Sean O'Malley talking about him, saying that Conor once was an inspiration for him, and he hopes all is well with him and his family. Here's what Sean had to say.
Yeah, no, me and Conor been going back and forth here, there, whatever. At the end of the day, I'm always gonna. He played an important role in my career, so it's always gonna be a inspiration to me at some point. Right now, I wouldn't say he necessarily is. I think he does want to get back to. I think there's a lot more going on behind the scenes with Conor than people know. People speculate. Yeah. I would like to personally, as a fan, see him come back, but also hope he's just like doing okay, like actually doing okay. It's no, you're not taught how to be famous. You're not taught what to do with all this money you make. Like he was, a broke guy from Ireland, blew up on the scene, made hundreds of millions of dollars. He just made so much money, and I hope he's just, he's got a big family now, got a bunch of kids. Hope he's doing good.
Conor tweeted in response saying, Sean is a fighting legend, UFC champion, and an incredible superstar. I would love to see, and I can't set it up fully, himself and his longtime coach Tim Welsh do a stint in Ireland. A 4-week run at SBG Ireland under John's coaching, and I'm telling you, he would regain his title. He has a shot at regaining it still for sure, but for himself and also his coach to spend a good month to begin with, not a long time, but a good solid month under Coach Cav at SBG, and they would take heaps of knowledge back with them and onward to regain the gold. I would love to see it. Conor McGregor goes off on bum Bilal Muhammad on Twitter. He tweeted saying, I'd love to crush my left hook into Bilal's temple and take down the Triple Crown. I'd do it easily and fast. I'd cave his skull heavy. The hurdles I face getting back to the octagon are just harrowing. I'm so sad over my June 29th fight cancellation. To think, this bum is now a UFC champion with 0 knockdowns on his resume whatsoever is so bad. The UFC's most abysmal 0 revenue generating fighter in modern history. Do you want to see Conor McGregor versus Bilal Muhammad? Let us know in the comments. Top comments. Imagine Khalil yawning over Hill's knocked out body in the octagon. What the F is Vanderlei talking about? He got that CTE in pride 100%. Dude fought like 4 times in UFC. Who am I picking between Yuri and Jamal? I'm picking Yuri, baby. Pretty funny that as soon as Chandler books a fight, Conor's ready to fight all of a sudden.